Hello and welcome to the Hollywood podcast, listeners, spiritual siblings, friends, all those that have come. Welcome, welcome. I am here with two wonderful, amazing guests. I am here with Emily Guderian and Michelle Jonson of Built to be Visible. These are wonderful, amazing women. And before I get too far in, I want to give a little bit of who they are. So Emily is a mother, a nerdy engineer. I'm just teasing her. I'm just giving her a hard time. And also a behavioral kinesiologist practitioner like I am. And again, part of Built to be Visible, which is what we are going to be speaking on today, which we're going to introduce. We also have Michelle Jonson, who is also one of my friendly behavioral kinesiologist practitioners, loving that. She's also an artist, a mother, and co-partner in Built to be Visible. So Built to be Visible is the professional organizing service. They are extraordinary and wonderful. And what they do is they take chaotic spaces and they turn them into, with you, they facilitate into peaceful places. So chaotic spaces into peaceful places. Thank you so much, ladies, for being on here. I'm very, very excited. Is there anything I missed? Do you want to share a little more about who you are, what you're about, or did I get it covered? How do you feel about that?
You did great, Holly. It's so fun to be here.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you guys said yes. You're so kind to me.
This is awesome.
It's a good fit. I love what you gals are doing. I love what you're bringing to the world. I think it's important. And I think, well, I also love to see what all of us are doing with the behavioral kinesiology, because I have my way of doing that. I have like what I'm working with that, and what you both are doing with this work, I think is really important. And it can shift so much for people. Built to be visible, this professional organizing company. Can you share some more about that? Like, give us maybe the overview of what your business is about.
Michelle, do you want me to start with the backstory?
Yes, go for it.
The backstory is that this business is a surprise to both of us.
Hey, yeah.
This is the business that I never anticipated running or having. This is a business that just kind of unfolded as I was doing muscle testing and release work for myself. It was one of those things that was placed on my heart, including the name. Built to be Visible is a little spark of inspiration for which I'm grateful for. So the inspiration that I received was that you would be doing an organizing business and muscle testing second. And I thought that to be a separate business, that I would be muscle testing in addition to organizing. As things have unfolded over the last year and a half, I do a lot of muscle testing with Michelle, with our clients on site. And it's something that neither of us anticipated. But as we got in people's homes and we saw what was going on and the emotion that was connected to all of this chaotic clutter and need for organization, we quickly saw how these muscle testing tools, the applied behavioral kinesiology, just became extremely useful in helping our clients move from chaotic spaces into peaceful places.
I love that. It's interesting because, like I said, you're an engineer, and it's like to go from that to I'm organizing people's homes, I'm helping them organize, and also doing this healing work alongside that. I can see how those marry together really well, and I'm excited to be able to share that with people. Michelle, how did you get involved in here? How did you go from this artistic and other like healing techniques that you do over to bringing this into the organization world?
There was a moment in time where Emily was doing some work and I just kind of whispered, I'll be your partner, but she heard me.
Secretly. I do
That
know a little bit of
call
this.
was fun.
I love how
the
this
first
like
phone call was fun.
Oh, between the two of you?
We had a meeting and like, yeah, let's do this. And so just kind of went from there.
Fell into place.
Yeah.
Well, and I didn't know at the time when she whispered that, I don't think she thought that I caught it. And then when I did call her, she said something like, oh, you remembered. Yeah, I do remember that. But as it turns out, Michelle has, had this dream,
I
I
had it
guess,
on.
this childhood
Yeah,
dream.
well, I mean, I've throughout my life written down different ideas for businesses, and organizing was always on that list.
Hmm.
So,
So
That's
you
when
were
the
already a
aha
pro.
moment.
I
Yeah.
well, not a pro for sure, but definitely had to keep my own life from falling into too much chaos.
It was like,
So,
wait a minute. I know a little bit about your background. I know how many kids you have. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you've been a professional organizer for a long time to manage that many people and keep things going. Yeah, you're probably a good organizer. I would say pro. I would say pro. And I've seen,
I vouch.
I know you too. And so like, I know that there are reasons, and because of where you come from, that the organizational skills are there. Plus you have this amazing tool, the behavioral kinesiology, to help people through anywhere they get stuck. Because I mean, I have actually seen some hoarder shows. I don't know if that's what you run into, but people can get stuck in like, I don't want to let this go, which I can let you gals talk more to, because it's hard to let go of things. It's sometimes they really are so meaningful and they hold a history for us. And if I let that go, what does it mean about that event or that situation or that person? Or what does that mean about me? So I can imagine like, I don't know, people may or may not get stumped. And I've looked through some of my stuff and I'm just like, why do I have that? What is that about? So I love that you guys are helping people move through these emotions and through this physical space, taking the chaotic and making it peaceful. And that makes such a difference. So maybe you guys can tell me if this is true. I feel like when we look around at our homes, what it looks like out and around here is what it looks like inside my head. It looks like this in here. And then I'm like, somehow it gets thrown up or spit out or projected out into what's around me. Do you find that to be true with clients? Do you see that in people's lives? What do you guys think of that?
what do you think, Emily? I've seen
I
both myself. Like
Okay.
sometimes there's the exterior is a pretend perfection, and the
Oh,
inside of us is just a wreck. But
okay.
then also the projection of everything's a mess inside and out is true too.
Okay.
So
I think I fall under the latter category. Like what it looks like out here, that's what it looks like in here. I'm not good at
yeah,
a facade.
I would say I would say that a disordered surrounding isn't always a reflection of a disordered mind.
Okay.
It's
I like that.
almost always connected emotionally and not necessarily
Oh,
with the mind.
okay.
It's just with the emotions that are connected to the mind. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
there's always some subconscious stuff affecting
Yeah.
what is going on, as well as just functionality and upbringing. I mean,
Oh,
you know,
well said.
that always plays a part.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, this is, oh my
I,
gosh, I'm thinking of so many questions. Go ahead. Don't let
I
me
know,
interrupt you.
well, I know an acquaintance that, when she got in trouble as a little girl, the punishment then was to clean.
Ah,
So she does not like to clean as an adult.
because that means you're in trouble, right?
Yeah. So
Oh,
kind of
that's
looking at
good.
those things. Yeah.
That's good. And so these are things you help people see that like, well, the reason this organization isn't happening, or the reason you're storing old cereal boxes, I don't know, is because of this emotional tie or this pattern or this loyalty. So
Yeah.
that's pretty interesting.
In fact, it's not always just the emotion of letting things go or an unwillingness to let things go. There's a lot of emotions. There's some that continue to crop up, huh, Michelle? We see these
For sure.
from time to time, but it's not always an unwillingness to let things go. It's other
Yeah.
stuff at work.
Oh,
It
can
could
you tell
be
me more?
guilt
Yeah.
for buying it in the first place, for spending money on it. It could because it's
Oh,
some, great Aunt Cora's special something. It could
yes.
be like, that person's passed away and I have to have a remembrance of them. Um,
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
lots of
shame, guilt shows up a
Mhm,
lot. Embarrassment,
mhm.
Embarrassment, like, because I
anger,
have it. Oh my
or
gosh.
that I didn't get my money's worth out of it.
Oh,
I
like an
paid X
exercise
amount of
bike.
money, right?
All right.
I love this. This is great.
Or and we had a joke at one time. I don't know how appropriate it is, but almost
Give it to
everybody
it.
we would go. I'm going to share it
Yeah, I
anyway.
want to hear this.
um, Almost every home we've gone into, people they apologize It was
Oh, I could see that.
interesting. People apologize for what's going on in the house as though it's the worst thing we've ever seen, and it is never the worst thing we've ever seen.
I'll
But
bet.
they apologize for it. So there's this I don't know, maybe is that
Guilt,
shame?
shame, yeah, some of
Yeah,
both, depending on the person maybe,
yeah,
huh? Wow,
yeah.
that makes total
Anger,
sense.
frustration, embarrassment, shame, guilt. There's a few that keep popping up from time to time.
Interesting, but you help people move through these. So like if this comes up, say people are working with you, like it's still good to, because I'm like, people are gonna be afraid now. They're just gonna, no, I'm kidding. But you help people move through it. It doesn't stay. If you're in there working with them, you're helping them like not have these emotions. How would you say that? Because I'm like,
Yeah.
let go, move through.
Well,
How do you say
it
that?
depends on the client, of course, but like sometimes it's just like taking a walk down the street, take a breath, get away from a minute. Other times it's like doing some forgiveness exercises, or our
Oh yeah.
favorite is dancing and music, singing at the top of the lungs while we're slinging things to the trash or the Goodwill. So
That's so good. That's something I love
Yeah,
about cleaning out is like it can move forward and then it can go work with somebody else. So you don't have to like hold on to it. It's like it's okay. It can go on.
it's
and
always
it's usually one of those things where you get into it and then kind of work on the release side of it. Most people when they first see us, they're not
They're kind of hands
thinking
off.
release.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not really hands off. It's kind of like I don't I don't know, maybe just a hesitation, I think. But as we start to get into the work, as we start to hear some of the backstories behind the things, the belongings and how they got to this point and what they used to be like beforehand, then everybody starts just kind of relaxing a little bit. And at that point, of course, it's whatever our client is willing to do, but gratitude
Hmm.
is very useful. Forgivenesses are useful, and then we have all kinds of things that to kind of break up some of the heaviness that shows up when we start working with people's belongings. There's almost always a moment of heaviness, and so dance
Ah.
party, it happens.
Hey, yeah,
And it's
that's
a great way
awesome.
to just break the tension.
That's good. Okay, so honestly, this makes me think. I'm in my closet, just that's where I'm at today. Um, but I have this box in here that for some reason there's things in there that I'm like, why did I keep this stuff? And one of the things is like a matchbook from one of my friends' bands in high school. And I'm kind of like, I mean, I kind of know why I kept it. It's just like, oh, they made it. They have a matchbook. Like, how cool is that? And never needing matches because I wasn't a smoker or whatever. I don't know, but I still have these. And I'm like, I don't know that's super hard to go, but what do you have any insight on that? Like, why do I still have this? Like, what's that about? I might like wish it for the old days or, I mean, I could throw it out, but I haven't.
I
What do you
think you
think?
just answered it. It's a tie to your past. It's tied
Yeah.
to a happy time.
A
Oh,
happy time,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I
So
like
why
that.
would you want to get rid of it if it makes you happy, if it like helps you recall a good moment, a happy connection, a happy friendship? You can find a space for that.
That's interesting. Or I could just use the matches. But hey, shout out to Rapid Fire. That was the band. Yeah. I love that though. So what rooms are you most often in certain rooms in people's houses? Like, is it always the garage? Is it always the closet or the master bedroom? Like, is it just everywhere? How does it usually go?
We have a
Uh,
variety, huh, Michelle?
yeah, yeah, for sure. Everything from garage to the bathroom to the closets to the kitchen to the pantry to under the stairs. Miss Emily climbed in under the stairs in this tiny
I
little
don't fit
space.
well under
Wow.
stairs.
I'm impressed though. Like
I'm a
that's how
big
much you
girl.
care.
That's how much I care. We've even been in a mechanical room. Like
Yes.
a house had a mechanical room. How cool
Meaning,
is that? We were
what's the
even in a
mechanical room?
mechanical room. It's kind of like an
Not
indoor
something they have
shed.
here.
Like all the HVAC was in there, the
Oh, I
electrical
see.
panel was in there. It was a mechanical room. It's where all the systems of the house were located in the basement. It was fabulous.
Okay, I've
It
I've
was
seen one of
my
those.
guest room.
Oh my
Yeah, it
gosh,
was
yes. I was in a place, I've seen one of those, and they referred to it as the hole, and it had like a this and that kind of storage and also the mechanical stuff. So they were probably good at storing. I don't super remember, but I love that. Yes, anywhere can get messy. So do you guys do like a whole house thing? Do people have you do just one room? Does it take a day? Does it take a month? Like what's the process on this?
Yes, all of those things.
Okay. So it kind of depends on like, if you want just one room, like that's a 1 day thing, but like, what if I said 5 rooms, or if I said my whole house, like what kind of a process is that? And maybe that depends on like how much junk you have, but can you share
True.
a little bit about
I'm
that?
going to defer that to you because she's
Sure.
the pro at coming and estimating and looking and.
Sure. So I'm developing all kinds of skills and abilities that I didn't know I would need. And one of them is being able to do estimates based on photographs. We have several clients that are out of state. And so it's not very effective for us to do on-site inspections for estimates. So I take photos and I put them together on a big screen and just kind of patchwork them together to get a feel for the floor plan of the house. And then the amount of time depends on the scope of the project. So sometimes we declutter and edit. We had a whole house that we did once, and it was just decluttering and editing. There's other projects where we just, there wasn't very much extra stuff. And so we just did an organization only. There were maybe just the smallest box of things that went into donation or to trash. And then usually projects are kind of a combination of those things. You declutter and edit and an organization. So it just depends on what our clients want. A lot of times, like the declutter, that's sufficient. Just having help unloading the extra stuff, finding new homes for the extra stuff, that's what people need help walking through. And then other
Like spring
times we
cleaning.
just stage it, yeah, and put it all together, and just they go away and they come back, and it's beautiful, it's magical, woo, like little fairy
Love
wand,
it.
and it's all done. So
Okay.
it depends. Like a master bedroom would take a couple days, a master bedroom and a master closet, a couple of days,
Okay.
because there's usually a lot of stuff stored in there. A kitchen, a pantry, just the better part of 1 day. A
Okay.
kitchen, maybe one whole day. It really depends on how much there is, how big the kitchens, how big
Yeah.
the pantries.
How
We've
much
seen
I'm
some
storing.
pantries that are,
That's
yeah, and
true.
how much they're storing. We've seen some amazing, like completely covet-worthy pantries, just
Ooh,
all day events because these pantries are so big.
that's kind of fun. Okay.
I
So
know. I kind of want one of them.
I have a couple of questions. So my next question is going to be like, what is the craziest, weirdest, the most memorable thing that you found? But before you answer that, I just want to make sure, I want to kind of see that if I understand the behavioral kinesiology is happening in the house, it's happening after, it's happening before. Is there a set way that you do that? Or is it pretty natural just whenever it comes up? Do they have like, we're just going to do a session of healing, then we go to your house? It's real time.
Thus far, it's real time.
I
As the
like
need
that process.
arises and beforehand, we let them know we have some tools if need be, and go forward. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Many
Yeah.
of our
Because to me,
clients
it's
don't
like,
even know we have these tools ahead of time, at
surprise.
least.
We're going to help you
Surprise.
out. Well, everybody listening here is going to know. They're going to be like, okay, good. She's not just leave me high and dry with like throwing out all my quote, air quotes, goodies. They're going to help me. They're going to help me move through this. So if anybody, is looking for this, then they get to come to you guys for quotes first. It's not just like you agree online, you never talk to each other. It's kind of, you get estimates, you see if you guys are a good fit. And so then if you want to work together. Is that accurate?
That's accurate.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So then back to my other question. What is the most favorite, bizarre, wild, fun thing that you've come across?
Well,
Go ahead.
I have something.
You have like some weird machines or like weird, I don't know, collections.
We had a client, it wasn't what she had, it was how she how she
stored it?
interacted with these things.
Okay.
So it's mostly clothes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we had a client who she just knew all of her clothes. Like I like lose track of more than, I don't know, 5 pairs of shoes,
Mm.
but she had many more pairs than that, and she knew them all. And
Like
so
friends.
yeah, yeah, like it was
Like
crazy. She
these
knew
are
all
these
of
are
them.
Jill. These are Ricardo shoes. No. Again, I'm in my closet.
Yeah, well, actually, I'd like to turn the
I
camera
know.
down, take a look
I'm
in
my
there.
as a bonus, like I think I'll do that for anybody watching on YouTube. Like I'll give you the bonus of like shh, that's fine.
We'll give you an on-air estimate. Okay, how
Oh
about
yeah.
that?
Oh my gosh. I don't think I could show the whole room. Anyway, continue. Tell me more.
No, but the beautiful thing about this client is she had some clothes that she had just lost track of just with the volume of stuff in her house. There had been a couple of moves. There had been some big life changes and upheavals, if you will. And so she had lost track of these things. And when we were unable to, or able to unearth them, rather, we would show them to her. And some of the things she was like, no, no, very no.
Ah.
And it was very no. But then there were other things where she would be so excited and she would clap and she would, yes, very
Oh,
yes,
exciting.
very yes.
Oh,
So
I love that.
we went home that night after work, and it was, I don't know, right before we went to sleep. And this was a multi-day project, so we were overnighting, and we kind of landed on it at the same time. We both said, do you have anything in your closet that would make you say very yes? Or, most of my stuff is like, meh,
Yeah.
but she
Yeah.
got really excited. And I think we made that kind of like a catalyst for going home and just kind of doing a little look around the closet. Do I have things
Very
that make me
yes.
say very yes?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm like, I have a few things, a few wild things that I would be like, very yes. I
Yeah, I
mean,
had
like,
more things.
that.
I see sparkles there, so I would go very yes.
That
Mhm.
snuck in here. I love that. And so some of the things I like to share with people listening is well, I like them to have this play and adventure. And I think that like you guys are hitting on that, like very yes, is kind of hilarious and awesome and really touches the heart. So I love that you bring that in. And another thing I love for people to get out of the podcast is being comfortable in their own skin, being comfortable being themselves and seeking truth as well, which I think the behavioral kinesiology really speaks to that. But talking about being comfortable being seen as we are, I love your title, Built to be Visible. Can you wrap that in like a pretty bow for me? How being comfortable with ourselves, built to be visible, and the work that people are letting, they're moving stuff out of their house, they're organizing and letting things go, however you would describe that. How do you kind of tie those together? I'm comfortable with who I am or how I'm seen, built to be visible, because I love that title. If you want to share more about that, I'd love it. And this organization piece that's physically happening in the household.
Mm.
I know, I'm like, can you tie that up for me?
I'll throw out a little thing that I'm gonna let Emily. So growing up, my mom had us have like cleaning Saturdays, and it was
Oh.
the whole day, clean the
Mhm.
whole house.
Ooh.
So like, and I found some confidence in that. I
Oh,
could
good.
dust really well. I could vacuum the lines really well. But there was also some resentments. My whole day was dictated and gone to
Mhm.
this project without forewarning or what do you have planned, or things like that. Then I found myself with 5 little kids and a special needs child on top of that, and I was drowning.
Mm.
And I discovered Fly Lady back in the early
I know about
2000s.
her.
and
Yeah.
and I
You
bring
know
her
about
up
her?
because it the acronym of finally loving yourself, right?
Mm.
Fly.
Yeah.
That's what my heart, my soul took in, as to having my space be livable, be clean, and being able to find the things that I needed or wanted, or like if somebody fell and scraped their knee, I could send my oldest child and say, look in this closet, this shelf, this box, there's the
Love
Band-Aids.
that.
And
That's a time saver. Organization is a time saver. Just to throw that in there.
it allowed me to stop cleaning my house and then apologizing for how messy my house is, right? Have you ever done that? You sit there and clean and clean and clean, and then you have a visitor and like, oh, I'm sorry, my house is such a mess. Like, there's no authenticity in that. And it allowed me to stop that game, if you will.
I feel, yeah, like that's you getting to be comfortable with like, this is what this is here in my house.
Yes, thank you for putting that point on there. That's exactly it. It's
Yeah.
like, this is my home. This is how I function. This is where I'm at. And I'm good with that.
Yeah, you can see me as I am, because I think I have mentioned in other podcasts, like I still don't invite a lot of people to my house. It's not particularly messy, but I have like some kind of embarrassment or qualm around it, like, oh, it's not decorated enough, or oh, it's all torn up, like our furniture isn't nice or something like that. Which is, forgive me, I have 4 children. I don't want to buy new furniture that they're going to break the springs on. But anyway, I love the idea of being more comfortable in my home and being able to be with myself here. Because when I look around and I'm just like, that's bad, that's wrong, I shouldn't have. And like the shame and guilt, like you were talking about, it's not comfortable to live in my house. Like,
No,
that's
that.
yes, exactly. And you guys taking this chaos into bringing it to peace. I think that's so needed in a world where we're super busy and everything's constantly nagging at us. Sometimes my house looks like it's just like, oh, that. There's over there, and there's so much grabbing our attention. I think when it's organized, we can say everything in its place. I think that's really helpful. But anyway, Emily, did you have anything else that you want to say about that piece before I move on? No.
Oh, well, I just wanted to say that actually the name Built to be Visible is kind of the gift that keeps on giving. At the time, I didn't fully understand it. I would probably say I still don't fully understand how relevant that name is. What we do is a very visual service. So you've got that wrapped up, but being visible is more than just about belongings. It's more than just is everything in its spot. It's about peeling back layers that prevent that true part of yourself from being, front and center. That's the part that's visible.
Yeah.
The other stuff, the emotion, it's just stuff.
Yeah.
Right. The true self, that higher part of all of us it's already visible. And so we just kind of go after it with that in mind. It's about bringing that to the surface is where the peace is. It's when we can move the emotion aside, then the true self takes over. The true self is already visible. The true self understands the depth of all of these things. So
I love
it's
that.
kind of a multi-layered business name. It's a constant reminder. It's a constant reminder to us to keep pulling back our own layers. When we go into people's houses, we've done our own preparatory work so that we can be better able to help. Because ultimately, that's what we're there for. We're there for service. It's not just about the gram. It's not just about before and after pictures. It's about creating a system that helps people to live fully, to live peacefully, to live without frustration, even after we go. It's a system designed around them.
Yeah, because I think it sounds like it can be catered to each person. And it's not like you come in, you clean, and then you leave them high and dry. And they're just like, how do I handle this newfound organization or less clutter or, whatever they're discovering? You guys are right there helping them with the tools, bringing their true self forward. When you were talking, I'm seeing in my mind like this kind of fountain coming from somebody's heart, just like coming forth, because you're helping them be visible. You're seeing them for who they truly are in the work that you're doing. You're kind of seeing their place in space as as an extension of them and something beautiful. It's not you're coming in and being like, well, why do you have this? And that's wrong. And you shouldn't. And no. You're coming in and asking them, giving them
No.
choice and helping them move through anything that comes up. Well, I think I want that. I'm not sure. And I don't want to let that go. Okay, let's talk about that. I think that's really beautiful. And really helping people discover who they are and their own truths. And so I like to tie that into the people seeking truth. That's what I'm about. It's I always kind of want to find truth. And I think such an important part is finding our truth, because I don't know that truth is the same in every realm, because truth over here is it better smell good. But maybe in some other house, they're like, oh, sometimes something wafts in, and I don't know what this example is, but something wafts in and we don't mind if there's like cow manure smell because they live out in the country. But maybe over here, it's like everything needs to smell like roses or something. So everyone kind of has like their own truth and way of being. What could you name any truths that people are really discovering about themselves? Is it like this? Do you ever see like this total shift in who a person is when you get there to when you leave? Is it like, oh, you come in and they're that person when you leave, or is there a big difference?
I have found that
Go ahead,
people are not lazy.
Okay.
True.
People will say that they are lazy, and
Mhm.
they are not lazy.
Mhm.
Nothing about disorganization is lazy. At least that's been my experience.
I love hearing that.
No, it's not about lazy. Michelle, what were you
Yeah.
gonna say?
Oh, I was just saying, I think there's just a level of grace that they find for themselves.
In your
That's
presence,
like
by the way. I don't.
when we get there, they're like, I'm sorry, my house is this, or it's like, I have so much stuff. I'm sorry. And then by the time we leave, there's a grace of, I've lived life. I've had
Mhm.
this experience and
Yeah.
this experience, and I've gotten overwhelmed, and I've had grief, and there's a
Yeah.
grace for living life, right?
My
That's what our
gosh. Yeah.
home is our nest. It's where we live. It's where we raise our children. It's where we cook food. Sometimes I
Mhm.
burn food. Sometimes it's
Totally did that tonight.
magnificent. Like, and so it's that grace in living. And we're not trying to be Pinterest perfect. We're not trying to be a magazine page. We're setting up a system that works with each person in their own
Mm.
home. Like one lady, she had workout clothes, she had work clothes, she had casual clothes, she had dressy clothes, she had like, and it just didn't make sense to put it in color order. It made sense to put it in the function of
I
it
love
order.
that.
Does that make sense? So
I like her. I like the sound of her too. I'm like, I want all those clothes.
She,
No.
she's a wonderful client. She was
finding
wonderful.
grace for yourself in your environment, for yourself and what you've been through to get to where you are.
That's so beautiful. That makes me think like if someone has passed and maybe I have all their stuff still, and having you guys come in and help me move through that place,
Mhm.
that stuff and those emotions. And I know you both, and I would trust you to help me move through that. Like I would absolutely say, okay, here's my heart. I'm crying. Please help me.
Thank you, Holly.
This
We
person
take good care of
passed.
you.
Right? I really think that it sounds like you're handling everything that comes up. I mean, wild things can be discovered inside of homes, and I think that you could hold the space for people with their shame, like, oh, there's there's some kind of animal problem back there, but I feel like you guys would be like, you've lived life. Yeah, we see you as a good person. Maybe that you didn't take care of that corner of your house, but there's so much else going on. Let's work through that emotion and that shame and stuff. I'm like, what can't you guys handle? I feel like you can be there for people and really make a difference in people's lives. So I just so happy to get to share you with everyone that is here. So do you have a specific client though? Is there anybody that you're like, we don't work with that? Or do you have ideal people that you're working with? Like, who do you like? Who comes to see you? Who calls you guys up? Who's calling? What people?
The overwhelmed.
The overwhelmed. Okay.
The exasperated.
Okay. I like
The
these
I
words.
can't take this one more day, folks.
Okay, I like it. And you don't have to be to that point, right? Like to still work with you
No.
guys. Okay, good. Okay.
When,
No.
before we were partners, and when we were talking about being partners, Emily came and she did like we worked together to see how we would work in my kitchen, and I
Oh,
thought I
that's
was
cool.
pretty well organized.
Yeah.
But she came in with her professional expertise, and she's like, "Well, how about if we change this to that and move these things over here?" And the functionality for this last year has been amazing in just those few little tweaks and changes, and so it can be as simple as that, is like, let's look at the function and the efficiency of what you're using your space for, and make
That's
it
like a remodel.
make it ideal for you.
That's
That's
the
awesome.
functional organizing. That's what we call it. It
Functional
can
organizing.
be
Right.
beautiful and aesthetic and amazing and absolutely, beautiful pictures. However, we focus more on the functional aspect of it. Is this system going to work after we leave?
Mhm.
We
Can you
we
maintain
don't
it?
want to create an ongoing market in that way. That's
Right.
not respectful to our clients.
Oh, I love that. Look at the integrity here. I love it. You gals are amazing. I'm so appreciative. I'm like, okay, when are they going to come to my house and clean everything up? No, not that you're going to clean all my house, but I'm like, I'm sure you could come in my kitchen. And to me, I think it would feel like a remodel if you come in and change the functionality. Like, oh, good. I don't have to cross the entire kitchen to get a pot when I'm ready to do this thing. And all the baking stuff's here or whatever. I mean, I try, but I'm wondering, oh, what could your systems be? And I'm also like, oh, I wonder how resistant I'd be. What a fun thing to like see where I'm like clinging and stuck and like don't want to let go or move, or, kind of where I get clogged up. So, okay. The other thing I want to know, where can people find you? What's the best way to get in contact with you for an estimate, to have you help people? Where can they find you?
In 3 places.
Okay.
I have a website, builttobevisible.com, and that's built with a T, BUILT, to be visible.com. There is a contact us tab on that landing page, and I do get those emails. Email is always good, builttobevisible@gmail.com. And we're on Facebook and Instagram at Built to Be Visible. We're just like repeating the same theme here over and over again. Built to be visible, built to be visible.
Visible. I love it. And I will have that in
Um,
the show notes for people. Perfect.
that's wonderful. Thank you. DMs work, emails work. I think there's a phone number in there, text that works too.
Yeah, I checked it out earlier. I was like, okay. So people can call, they can email, they can DM. I love that.
Right.
And I actually have seen some of the work that you have done, and it's impressive. And it's not like every cookie cutter the same. You're not making people buy all sorts of new stuff from IKEA or Walmart to like reorganize necessarily. It looks like, from what I've seen, it's, you can work with what people have and what systems they like and that are functional, like you said. I love that. So with that, now that people know where to find you, is there any last tip or tool or offering that you'd like to share? I don't know, gifty idea things. What would you like to share as we come to a close here?
For myself, I have a Goodwill basket, like a charity basket, whether it goes to Goodwill or big sister, big brothers, big sisters, all wherever you take your donations. Like that's in my closet, and anytime I try on something that I'm like, yeah, that's done, it goes right in that basket, and then it goes right out, when
That's
that
good.
basket is full. So it's not taking up space in my closet anymore. It's on its way, and I am thankful for what I had it, and then thankful that it can help someone else.
Yeah. Thank you to our stuff. I like that. That's something I try to do, is just always have a like, oh, immediately let it go or move it out. Emily, anything else you'd like to share? Any yes, anything, any other last words? No.
Sure. Final words. Final words.
Your final words.
I think I wanted to just share the overarching driver behind what we do. We do what we do because God placed this on both of our hearts. But when we are in people's homes, when we are dealing with them, and the daily visual of what they manage It's about helping people shed these things that don't serve them well. It's about bringing light and lightness and peace and calm into people's homes. And this has a spillover effect that you just can't quantify. If you've got a harried mom who now has a kitchen area that works for her, then the children go off to school without getting yelled at. Everybody knows where the homework is. The lunches come together so much more easily. And when the children come home from school, they have a place to put things. When you have
That's
light,
smart.
when you have that small amount of order in people's homes and in their families, that just it ripples to places that you just don't know. And while I personally am not equipped to do much about all of the negative, yucky stuff that's out in the world today, I can teach people organizing principles and show them how to implement these in their homes and kickstart that whole process if they need it. And when they have that, the peace spills over into every aspect of their life. That's the overarching push behind what I do. And
Wow.
that's the thing that just lights me up inside. We love that. We love helping people see that peace.
Sold.
True.
I love it. That, yeah. Who doesn't want that? And I love that idea that it's spreading out to other people. I really, that like lights me up too. I love when it can, not
Yeah.
only am I healing here, it gets to that ripple effect. So I love what you are up to. I love what you're doing. I'm so appreciative of you to come share it on here. I can't wait for people to start working with you even more and get into your world, have you in their world because you make it a better place. And I appreciate you both. Thank you again so much for coming on
Thank
here.
you, Holly.
Of
Thank
course.
you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Holly. You are a beautiful soul. I love your friendship. I love associating with you.
Thank
You bring
you.
your own lightness and peace into the
Absolutely.
world.
All right. And as we end here, I say to listeners, remember to love yourself forward, backward, inside, and out, because you are the unfolding of the universe.